With the first pick in the 2025 CFL Draft, the Calgary Stampeders select Damien Alford, wide receiver, Utah. Hamilton, you are now on the clock.
You take a look at Damien Alford, who had a very successful career at Syracuse before transferring for a quiet season last year. But his 40 time at the Pro Day, the Big 12 Pro Day, really turned some people on.
Yeah, this is the thing that really stood out. You heard Jim Barker a little earlier mention Zach Mathis, whom Edmonton selected in the supplemental draft first round last year. Similar kind of guy. Big receiver who can flat out run. You think about that catch radius at 6'6". Alford, Montreal native, was Syracuse's leading receiver, of course, part of a big wave of Canadians and particularly players from Quebec heading to Syracuse to play, stood out there. Again, transferred to Utah. Not much production there, which I think created some red flags for a number of teams and maybe created some doubt as to where he might go in this draft. But absolutely one of the elite explosive athletes in this group.
Yeah, and looking back at what Ottawa did last year, right, Nick Martin, trying to stretch the field and get bigger and take shots down the field, 19.3 yards per catch in his time at Syracuse. That was 5th in program history. By the way, shout out to the Orange, because they've now had essentially, even though he was at Utah, 2 of the last 4 first overall picks, with Tyrell Richards obviously going to the Montreal Alouettes. But I like this just because of, yes, Lapo, you mentioned Cole Tucker and needing to find some added help because you need to have depth. But I don't think this is a depth pick. I think this is one of those, you always say, Dwayne, first overall has got to be something special. This dude's just different.
Yeah, 226 pounds, 4'4", that's incredible for a big guy. Now, a lot of research had to be done on this player because, you know, how do you go from what he did at Syracuse to Utah? And everything you hear from the coaches at Utah, it's a character guy, great in meetings, he did everything he asked for, whether he was homesick, just wasn't sure why he got on the field, but it wasn't a character thing. So this gets one guy very happy in that building. Who? Vernon Adams, right? What did he used to do? Throw it up to Justin McInnes. Yeah. Now he's got a guy who can step in the field, and you're right, this guy competes right now to be a starter, step in, play slot, throw the ball up to him. Big body guy, can catch a football.
Dom Rhymes, now you got the all 6'6" here. I mean, Calgary could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Vernon talked about that when he first signed in Calgary, that he needs bigger receivers, that when he misses, it's usually high. He needs a guy like this that can play.